Hey guys, welcome to another video. I know it's been a little while. There's been a lot of things going on, but in this opportunity, I'm not gonna do a project. In this opportunity, I want to share with you guys my experience working for a MSP. I think this is very relevant for those of you who are looking to start your career in IT. I mentioned on another video that this would be really like an ideal job, um, especially when you're beginning. Besides the just the regular, help desk position that you may encounter when you apply to these jobs, especially again, um, for like your first job in IT. So anyway, I know this video might get a little bit long, so I'm just gonna get right into it. Um, so the reason why I tell you guys or I encourage you to look into this job, and you could find it like with different like name labels. You could find it with like IT specialist, or sometimes junior system administration administrator, or like perhaps like level 2 support, maybe even level 3, but that would be if you have more experience. That position, the name of the position that I had at the first MSP I was working for was IT specialist, and then this second MSP it was support to engineer. Okay, so um, I guess I could give you a little uh, back background, or like a previous an intro of how I got this job. Um, so it was my first job in IT. To be honest, I mean I worked for Best Buy before, but I mean that's not really IT. IT. Um, so anyway, I was just applying for jobs, and I happened to get the opportunity to interview with this small MSP. And if you don't know what an MSP is or stands for, it stands for Managed Service Provider. And what they do is they basically provide IT services to small to medium sized businesses to even large enterprises. Now, what type of IT support? It could be a variety of things, right? So, let me tell you a little bit of what I did at my first MSP. This MSP was pretty much just the business owner and three other engineers, including myself, and we would do all types of work, right? So, my day to day, right, would be like either pick up phone calls from users, and telling me that they have issues either with their computers, scanners, printers, phones, Wi-Fi, you name it. Pretty much with anything that you can think of: cameras, microphones, mouses, keyboards, everything, everything. Okay. Now sometimes even with software, now sometimes we would also get requested to do some onboarding or offboarding of users, terminating users or onboarding new users. Um, and so in that case, what we would touch is Active Directory, or if they were in the cloud, we would use Azure mostly. Okay. And in some instances, we will also use Google, which I hated, by the way. I don't like Google products at all. Maybe it's just me, but so what we would do in Active Directory, as you guys may probably already know, is just making sure that users have the right permissions, the right security groups, the right distribution groups, and anything that is related to like access control, right? Um, Pretty much access to like resources on the network, access to applications, perhaps remote access from if these users were going abroad or in a different city, making sure that they're able to access the network resources that they need. So that's kind of like on the system administration side of things. But then we would also touch, for example, firewalls. And on the firewalls, some of the things that I would deal with would be just for example, making sure that we are authenticating users from, like, let's say, Sonic Wall. So you have your, list of users in Active Directory, but then you also have a list of users on the firewall, right, on Sonic Wall or whatever firewall we were using at the time. And that way, whenever we would download these VPN clients on their machines, that they would be authenticated through the firewall. And then also, for example, if a business would call us and tell us, hey, we have no internet at all, we're not able to work, so we would go on the firewall and check those WAN connections, making sure that, just trying to troubleshoot what could be happening. A lot of times it would be mostly due to an outage, or perhaps due to like old modem or firewall that they would have, or sometimes they mess with the connections, and we would just have to assist with those type of issues. Then in some instances too, we would mess with routing protocols, but I would say barely. Especially in this first MSP that I was working at, because it was just small to medium sized businesses, so they didn't really need to do like routing to other other networks. But that's a little bit of the firewall. I mean, on the firewall, we would also configure or like block certain websites, block access to, perhaps certain parts of the network. In some instances, we will also do some type of like ACLs, access conditional lists, but it was very minimal. So that's on the firewall side of things, or like network kind of things. And then as far as cybersecurity, we would make sure that their email, their emails are safe, that they're able to receive emails. If we want to block certain emails, then we would do that too. Then we will also deal with endpoint threat management. So we would deal or make sure that their antivirus is always working, that they're free of viruses. So as you guys can see, pretty much touched every single part of IT that you can think of, and it was a really good experience, because even though it was just a small team, and it wasn't really structured. Like, we didn't really have a team for, like, I don't know, like cyber security, or a team for like projects. We kind of had to do everything together at the same time. It was good because not only do you learn how to solve problems on your own, because you can't really escalate tickets to another team. It was us just, helping each other and figuring things out. And then, two, you're going to learn how to really work in a team, work like in a works in a team, like with, work with your team, I should say. And then, it was really like, it's very fast paced, guys. Like, a lot of times I had to, like, they would give me a call and I had no idea like where to start, so I had to like either communicate with my teammates, or just research how to solve this problem if it's a new problem. um, then as far as documentation, that was a little bit of a struggle too, of course, because it wasn't really, we didn't really have any type of software that was dedicated to documentation. We were just using like OneDrive, but it was a really good experience that I'm really grateful for. Now, as far as then I got transitioned to a bigger MSP. This MSP was more healthcare focused, so, but we will also provide support to a variety of like industries, small to medium size and large, very, very large enterprises across the U.S. And this was a more structured MSP, because we had a team for projects, we had a team for security, we had a knock team as well. We had an escalations team. We have our level one support team, level two support team, and then we were divided in different teams and each team served a group of clients, right? So again, it was really good. We had all the tools that we needed. So, for example, some of the things that I didn't talk about the first MSP is like some of the tools that we will use, for example, for ticketing system and documentation. For example, for ticketing, we would use ConnectWise, and then the first one we used the AnyDesk. We also used IT Glue for documentation. We used Screen Connect and Ninja for our RMM, which is like the remote software that we would use to remote into servers, into computers, virtual machines, and things of that nature. And so, again, some of the things that I would do at this bigger MSP were really almost like the same thing I would do um, on the first MSP that I was working at, right? So, but this was more like we really had all the tools that we needed. We also were like mostly Meraki shop, so a lot of the infrastructure was like more streamlined, meaning that in Meraki we would manage their APs, we would manage their firewall settings, we would manage their switches if they had switches on there. Um, so it was more like again a centralized point of management for the whole infrastructure, right? So I learned a lot more about like Cisco equipment, and so that was a lot of fun. Um, what else, guys? I think that's some of the things that were more relevant. I also learned how to deal with vendors. So a lot of times with these orthopedic, it's because I was dealing with orthopedic, you know, institutes. They have a lot of specialized equipment for what they do. So sometimes if let's say the X-ray would send information to a computer. So their system, like their X-ray machine or whatever they call, I don't know what these equipments are called, but this equipment that they would use to take um, diagnostics, they would send that information to a server, and then from the server it would go to like an application that they would use to monitor everything and document everything, like for like patient information. And sometimes these systems would break, so of course we're not knowledgeable about these products 100%. And there were some instances where we would have to call the vendor and work with the vendor to allow them access to these servers in case they need access to the server, right, for where the application was hosted. So that's something that I kind of learned how to handle too, when to make a call, when like I was able to identify if it was just something simple that I could fix myself. So I did a lot of that. That was really interesting. Every once in a while they would send me on site to like perhaps replace like an AP or fix a dumb switch, because a lot of the times they would mess with like the connections if they thought there was something that was not well connected, things that they do. um, so I think that covers most of it. Of course, I was able to communicate with different teams, so I got to learn more about like the security side of things, how like they would use, for example, Duo for multi-factor authentication, and how that was set up. Um, a little bit of email security too, like for example, at this bigger MSP they use Mimecast, which is let's see what is how can you define Mimecast. So it was like a place for like, it says an email security company that provides a number of services to protect email from threats such as spam, malware, and phishing. Right. So that I learned more about that, even though I'm not an expert, but that was interesting. And as far as like endpoint threat management, we would use tools such as Threat Locker, Sentinel One, and Sophos, and then there was another one. I can't remember. But yeah, that was fun too, because sometimes the doctors, they would plug in a USB or insert a CD into the computer, and that would send an alert to our system, telling us, hey, somebody plugged something into the computer. And because these are like computers that have to be compliant with the with what is it, with the HIPAA protocol. We needed to monitor these endpoints, so that was really interesting to learn too. But again, all right. So I think I'm gonna I'm gonna stop right there. I just wanted to give you guys an overview of what is that you can learn and do while working for a MSP. Um, you work with like different businesses, you touch different technologies, and if you're not really sure where is that you want to like which career path you want to take, this is a good starting point, because again, you touch all of these technologies, and then you can say, look, I like this this technology better, whether that's cloud, whether that's networking, firewalls, Wi-Fi, email security, you name it. All right. So I just wanted to share this with you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll be back here with more projects. Right now I'm actually looking into some of the old projects that I was doing for DevOps. So perhaps I'll post another one. If you guys have any suggestions on what are some things that I could talk about, just let me know, um, and I'll be happy to make a video on it. But again, I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.